Okay, all right, we are ready to go. All systems go here. Let's start from the top. All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Wednesday evening. Another KnicksFanTV and Bleacher Report simulcast. CP the franchise in the building. On today's show, we got to check the temperature of these New York Knicks, man, before they head out west to take on the Lakers, the Clippers. They got another matchup against the Dubs, Portland Trailblazers as well. Joining me today, you guys know him, man. He's our guy, Knicks Insider for SNY. You can catch him on the putback with Ian Begley, and he is our guy, Ian Begley, in the building. So hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. This is a worldwide stream, man. We're live on YouTube, on Bleacher Report, Facebook, Twitter, X, and Instagram. So let's go, man. So it's everybody in the chat. Let's get right to it. Ian, how you feeling, man?
CP, I'm good, man. I'm hanging in. How are you?
You know, I was in the building last night, man. I was having a great time, man. Great seats in the garden, national TV game. Everybody was there to see the Knicks against the Chef. Look, things were looking good, man. In the first half, things were looking all right. The Dogs set the tone. Nice job by OG and by Jalen. But I just had a sneaky feeling, man. Because at halftime, I went into this game, and I'm talking to everybody. They're like, what do you think? I'm like, you know, teams like this, like the Warriors, a veteran team like that who just played the night before, on a second night of a back-to-back, like you've seen this, man, where teams pace themselves. And you're not going to get their best shot until the second half when they start turning up. And I just felt like the Knicks just couldn't meet that moment there, man. Couldn't do it. What'd you think?
And Golden State, a good third quarter team all year, right? And so you had both of those factors. And obviously, Steph, his one visit to the Garden, he could play 4 games in a row leading up to this game. He'd be up for it. He'd be giving you his best. So I think you knew he was quiet first half. You knew something was coming from him, an avalanche at some point. And then he had, I think, 20 in the second half. And they broke the game open late. But the Knicks were still in this thing. 6:30 to go, I think, or 6 minutes to go, down 1. And so it was right there for the taking. And then you saw missed shots, defensive miscues, and Golden State walked off the floor with a big win. And Steph Curry, man, like, the thing I love about when he's in town or LeBron's in town, after the game, if they win, they make the rounds, like, around the court.
Yeah.
Like, after they do their post-game interview, they walk around the floor. 1 million people want to say hi to them. They say hello to everybody. They sign autographs. They see people they know, and it's just fun to watch that part of it. Nothing was fun if you're a Knicks fan watching that game late, but just that scene is I always feel privileged to be able to watch that.
Yeah, I was watching as well, man, and they mobbed Steph like a rock star, man. All the kids were waiting around for him, the media, so there was a big commotion there for Stephen Curry, and rightfully so. He is a legend in this game, and we'll see how many years he has left. But you're right at the turning point of the game, man, was that 6:33 mark. The Dog was doing his thing with that second unit. The Dog has an OG Anunoby. He misses that free throw, and this is where I'm going to start with my big problems with this team, is like, the lack of attention to detail, especially on the defensive end. Off of a missed free throw, they give Santos a wide open three-pointer on the other end, and that was the first of the 11-0 run by the Golden State Warriors. Like, what do you make of these? You know, what are they now? They're 38 and 21? So about 60 games in here. Like, what do you make of these constant defensive miscues with this team?
You know, they're talking about communication, that they didn't communicate enough, but that seems to always be kind of a Band-Aid for other things that could be going on. The one thing I would say is maybe, and I can't even remember because he was playing in short spurts, but maybe Mr. Robinson being in there, maybe that throws things just slightly, just because it's a new wrinkle. But there's no excuse for leaving a three-point. A guy is so wide open at the three-point line. Just a miscommunication, somebody not understanding what their assignment was. Maybe the assignment wasn't clear because of the personnel. A communication thing could be as simple as that. But the problem, CP, even when there is good communication and they're executing defensively what they want to execute, defense hasn't been good. It has not been good. This is not a Tom Thibodeau defense. So even when everyone's on the same page, I think you can only expect so much from this defense, from this team.
Yeah, and again, not to single guys out, but as you said, sometimes the effort's not there. Like, I'm
Yeah.
watching that fury, that second half fury by the Golden State Warriors. I'm seeing Draymond Green leave Precious Achua in the dust in transition, beat him all the way down court. He's 10 years older than him. And that is just a veteran knowing how to take advantage of a team that's fallen asleep at the wheel. So, I mean, and this is a team that played the night before.
Right, right. And that stuff is controllable, right? Like the transition defense, sometimes there are nights when it's okay, but there are nights where they're giving up too many easy baskets off of transition defense. You saw it rear its ugly head again against Golden State, and that's been an issue for this club. Like, and to me, that's not necessarily a personnel thing. That's not, a lack of skill. It's just a lack of maybe awareness, a lack of hustle on that given play. Because you said it, Draymond Green should not be beating someone who's 10 years younger than him down the floor at this point in his career.
Yeah, no question about it. Once again, we are talking to the great Ian Begley joining us today, Knicks insider for SNY. It's going to be a rapid fire show, but if you guys want to get some questions in with Ian, we will take a couple calls on the KFTV Discord, so make sure that you guys are lining up quickly. I also did take a fan mailbag questions. A lot of the fans submitted questions around similar themes, so I'm just going to cover this here in our session today. And so, right, the lack of attention to detail, the three-point defense has been a bit of an issue. And you wrote an article today about the three-point offense. Knicks only hitting, I think they shot like 29% from three last night, only hitting 8 threes. But it's been a trend that they're just not getting it up to enough attempts. Tibbs' goal this season was to get it around 40 or so, but they're just not getting there. What do you make of that? How do they improve there?
I think Miles McBride made a great point about pushing the pace, even, off makes, get up the floor faster, and then have actions off the ball where you're forcing the defense to react. It seemed like what he was saying when he was talking about it after the game was there's too much standing around, and there's too much kind of pounding of the ball not moving, people not moving. And that's how you get good looks from three. Ball movement, body movement, and Miles McBride, always a truth teller in that post-game locker room, which I appreciate. I think that's what he was saying. Let's pick up the pace. Let's start moving off the ball again. Let's get the ball moving, and then the attempts should be there, because I think they were shooting more earlier in the season, and just more recently, it's taken a dip, and they shoot a good percentage. Their field goal percentage on the season is top 10 from three, and so it's troubling for them to not get more up. And then obviously on the other end, the 3-point field goal percentage from the opponent, they're worse in the league right now. So that's a glaring issue.
Yeah, for sure. And this year, like when it comes to creating advantages, like obviously Jalen is one of the best in the business who can do it by himself. Karl Anthony Towns, especially in at least the first half, prior to just the wear and tear and the injury, he was doing a great job of creating for others, especially with the spacing and the gravity that he commands. But outside of those two guys, they don't really have those guys who can, separate, draw that attention from the defense. So it takes the collective and, on Tibs as well, to devise a scheme that's generating and encouraging more ball movement so that these guys can get the open looks, but also when they're getting them, they got to knock them down. And, one person in particular, again, not to single people out, but Josh Hart kind of seems like he's back in that tentative stage where the teams are giving him the wide open three, and he's just caught in that, either lack of confidence, but he's not shooting them and he's not knocking them down.
Yeah. And, he's not going to say it, but I just wonder, like, is the knee bothering him to the point where it's affecting how he can shoot from that distance? And is that why he's passing up these shots? Because he was taking them earlier in the year, and there was a point in time several weeks into the season where he was around 40% and he was knocking those shots down. And obviously it seems like he's more reluctant to take those down. He's got to take them though, because if he's not taking them, the defenses can continue to sag off and then pay more attention to somebody else. So he's got to take those shots, whether he makes it or not. Just not taking them, I think, hurts the offense. I'm sure he knows that. So that's why I just wonder, is there a physical thing there that again, he's not going to talk about publicly. Nobody's going to talk about publicly, but is that limiting his ability to feel comfortable shooting from that distance?
And it seems like it's also limiting his ability to defend. Like, I'm not sure if he's kind of pacing himself here to get ready for the playoffs with the knee injury in the backdrop of that, but it's been noticeable that his defense is taking a step back. So as you said, maybe it's a minutes restriction here where, hey, I want to see McBride playing a lot more anyway. So maybe it's something on Tibs that say, hey, let's rest Josh Hart a little bit here because he just hasn't been as impactful as he was prior to the injury flaring up on him.
Right. And, he came out of the break missing a game, right? So that's kind of a red flag. And I don't think it was, people wanted to say, oh, they're just resting him another game before that second game after the break. But he's not going to rest if he's not hurt. So the knee was a legitimate thing. I just wonder how much that's impacting what we're seeing on the court from him. A lot of comments about his defense on and off the ball particularly. And yeah, it's surprising because he's usually giving you so much energy on that end of the floor. That's something you can usually count on. Didn't seem like it was there against Golden State.
Another thing that was super noticeable, man, like you can hear it, the frustration from the crowd. And again, don't want to pick on this guy because he's under a lot of pressure here in his first year. But the lack of aggression from Mikal Bridges, man, it's noticeable. It's exposing like his inability to take advantage of Stephen Curry. The crowd was begging for that last night, man. And especially in that one moment, that one key moment in that fourth quarter stretch when the starters got back in. And he's got the ball with Steph Curry on him. And he shoots a fadeaway. You can hear the wind get taken out of the entire garden, man. Everybody's been frustrated with his lack of aggression, man.
Yeah, no, it's been, he's had some good moments offensively, that 40-point game Christmas Day. So you've seen flashes, but it hasn't been consistent at all. And I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody because it's professional sports. No excuses needed. But you saw him too, CP, on the other end of the floor, just chasing Steph Curry around screens all night. And again, not here to make an excuse, but I just wonder as that takes so much out of you that maybe you feel like you got to conserve something on the offensive end if you're going to have to chase him around possession after possession after possession. But there's a body of work here through, 60 games that tells you that Bridges, the aggression is not there consistently. Is it because they're not putting him in position to succeed? Is he being too passive? I don't know the answer there, but certainly, not getting to the line much at all, not going all the way to the rim, hitting those jumpers when he pulls up more often than not. But it just seems like indicative of a lack of aggression overall.
Yeah, and just, again, you looked at the Miami game, didn't close that game. McBride starts in the overtime. That's why I'm looking for a bit more minutes here for McBride. And even last night with the second unit, even though they did cut the lead down with the good shots that they were making, it just seems like Bridges, to me, would maybe fare better with that unit. They can run a little bit faster, and then he can kind of be the initiator of that offense because I saw at times that they were kind of struggling to get some good offense.
Yeah, and he started the year, I think he was starting the second quarter, beginning of the year with that bench group, and then it kind of went away, and Towns at some point was playing with that bench group early second quarter. So it's something that they've tried, and I agree with you because that allows him to be the initiator. And, Miles McBride, obviously, if you put him coming off a screen or you give him a ball screen, he can create too. So, it just gives you another threat there with that second unit. I do wonder, CP, if maybe you see that more often. But just, by and large, the role for Mikal Bridges has been so different this year than it was in Brooklyn. And then you go back to Phoenix, he adjusted to a role from the Suns to Brooklyn. And look, I think in the best case scenario, it's just the long adjustment period and then he starts to settle in. But look, you haven't seen enough evidence to where you can say he's going to be fine. We're good there. I don't think that's the case at this point in the year.
Yeah, there's going to need to be a long evaluation period. We'll see. Look, there's still a lot of season left to be played and playoffs for him to shine, but there's going to have to be an evaluation in terms of how to best utilize him in his role here with this team. Now, let's talk about additions to the roster here. This week, over the past 2 days, they made the two-way signings. Marjon Beauchamp has signed here on the two-way deal, and also Anton Watson has signed here. Is there a plan to get these guys some playing time while they're still eligible? And then also, who do you think they get for the final roster spot that they still have one more left to go?
I can't see those guys getting regular minutes here unless there's an injury or two. So I don't think that is necessarily the case. Maybe it was more so a longer term vision. And then you look at that 15th spot, right? Moses Brown is with the G League team back in Westchester playing. And to me, the Knicks, if they wanted to go with Brown, they could have done it 2 days ago, could have done it yesterday, could do it today. So I think there's something else at play there. The one thing that I keep an eye on is this back-to-back that they have coming up on the road trip. I don't think Mitchell Robinson's at a place now where he can play the second game of a back-to-back. So are you comfortable with Precious Achiuwa presumably backing up Karl Towns? It's a way you've gone so many times this season, or do you feel like you need to bring in another body? So that's why I look at later this week. But look, I've said it in other places, and I do believe just being around the NBA for a little bit, being around this team, and have a conversation with people. I do think a PJ Tucker type, like a veteran in that locker room who would command the respect of everybody in the room, and who could maybe deliver his thoughts, some messages that maybe wouldn't be listened to or taken in the right way from another player, but a veteran like PJ could deliver these messages. I think this Knicks team would benefit from that kind of signing. And I know people kind of think it's crazy because maybe he can't give you much on the floor, but
right,
the 15th guy, like Tom Thibodeau is not playing the 15th guy anyway. So it's really at that point not about basketball unless there's a ton of injuries. That guy's not going to see the floor.
Some of the younger guys that have been, you have Kevin McCullers coming up in the G League. Obviously, seems like that's more of a next year thing. But how about a guy like a Kolek? Like, have you heard anything from the organization in terms of thoughts on him? Like, I would hope that at this moment where they're kind of locked into that third seed, you're looking to push the pace, maybe improve your playmaking a little bit to generate more threes. I would like to see them experiment a little bit with Payne's minutes, throw Kolek out there, and maybe see what he can do. Like, what has the organization thought about him, given in your conversations?
I mean, look, earlier in the year, going way back, start of the year, that Kolek really impressed people. Going back to training camp preseason, really impressed people, and they felt like, hey, we have something here. So I don't think his lack of playing time at the NBA level is indicative of how the Knicks feel about them. I haven't gotten that sense at all. But the idea that Tom Thibodeau is going to do anything other than do what he thinks will allow the Knicks to win that game that night, we haven't seen that from Thibodeau. So I can't envision a scenario unless we're talking about April 9th and they're fully locked in and they know who they're playing. Maybe then there would be some experimentation, the idea of giving rookies more minutes, rotation minutes. But until you get to that point, I can't see Tom Thibodeau doing it. He's just wired to want to win that night, every night, and he hasn't, we haven't seen, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, here in New York where there's been a stretch where he said, all right, let's play the younger guys just to see what it looks like. He wants to win, and right or wrong approach, that's who he is, that's who he's been, that's what you signed up for when you hired him as head coach and you extended him.
And final question for you here, as we look at this team, they're 40-21. The conversation for me, just on the outside looking in, having done this for 8 years now, the conversation between, should we be satisfied with where they are? Should we be disappointed? Who are these guys really? What have you made about that chatter? Like, are the expectations too high for this team? What do you think about the overall general conversation about this team on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I look at it as you make the trades that you make for Towns and for Bridges, and you make the commitment that you make to OG Anunoby. You're saying to everyone, we believe that this team could take us where we want to go. Whether that ends up being the case or not, I don't think anything is unfair with regards to holding this group to a very high standard. It happens to be a year where two teams have separated themselves in the regular season in Boston and Cleveland, and you've struggled against them. And I think it's all fair to include that in the analysis and to be disappointed with those results to me, because you're making those moves that you made in the offseason with the idea of getting to your ultimate goal, winning a title. And so don't shy away from that. I think that's fair to hold this group to that kind of a standard. Now, look, if it goes left, they win the first round, get embarrassed in the second round. I think there's going into the year, you were thinking, all right, they're fully locked into this group. There's this nuclear option where, like, you move one of the bigger names and you bring in somebody else. And I think that if you get to that point, look, I think everything is on the table, but we're talking about weeks from now, months from now. And I say that to say, like, there is pressure on this group to perform. I don't think anybody would be happy if you make it to the Boston series or the Cleveland series second round and you don't compete. So I think it's fair to hold this team up to high expectations.
Oh, well, there you go, man. Well, Ian, we definitely appreciate the time. You guys went on the putback today. Yeah, our guy Kaz was on, Tim McMahon. Anything else you want to share with the fans? And anything you want to promote?
Look, man, just keep your eye on SNY.TV. We got write-ups. We'll have video analysis, and we'll be lucky enough at some point to have CP back on the putback. So keep an eye out for us there. But that's about it. CP, always good to be with you, man. Always fun to talk shop.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. We'll connect down the road, man. Be safe, bro.
Thanks, you too.
All right, man. That was our guy, Ian Begley. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys, man. What you guys think? It's a tough loss yesterday against the Golden State Warriors. They're gonna head out west against the Lakers. They got back-to-back with the Clippers. Just a couple of things, man, just really getting on my nerves with the team. I know it's 40-21. I should be one of those people, that's grateful for where the team is at. And Captain Clutch doing his clutch thing. And OG looking good last night. But the defense, the attention to detail on the defensive end, it's nagging me, man. I watched that thing in horror the final 6 minutes of that game. We don't need that. And I know they locked into the third seed, but you got the chef coming into town. I'm trying to make a point to Draymond Green that he stinks. But the team got to back it up, man. They didn't have my back yesterday. But shout out to the team. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Bleacher Report, I see you. IG, what's good? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, we in here. Salute to the family, man. Let me shout out some of the super chats that are coming in here. Shout out to the art man, formerly known as Steve, $10 super chat. Says Josh Hart. He's the energy, point blank, period. He shows up last night. We smoked the Warriors. Yeah, I think you're right on that. They're going to have to look into what's going on with Hart. He plays with Hart, but is he playing smart right now? And are the Knicks and Tibs playing this thing smart? He's got a chronic knee issue. And if you're locked into the third seed, like, yeah, we want to win every game, but we got to keep this guy fresh. And it's clear, especially on the defensive side, that he's not giving it 100. And then the other side, man, he's bricking threes. He's compounding the offensive issues. Let the deuce loose. And that's what I'm saying. Like, another thing, like with the three-point woes, like, I'm looking at that second unit. Like, we need more playmaking. I know Kolek is going to give it all back up on the defensive end. But if we want to push the pace and trying to generate some better offense, I throw him a bone, man. And see what's going on. Now you got the town situation, and everybody's asking, what's going on? Listen, man, it's a personal issue. Let the man handle his handles, and he'll get back whenever he gets back. I'm not worried about the town situation. I don't think people should be worried what's going on. You got people, these accounts like sending him tributes and all that. Like, knock it off, man. Let the kid handle what he's going through. Let him deal with what he's dealing with, and he'll get back to the team when the time is right. Shout out to Ace of Spades. Shout out to Che, DJ C Life Burgess in the building. Salute to you guys. What else, man? Salute to everybody on the gram. I see you. Alex Holman, Bridges, Hart, and Robinson has absolutely no spacing when the three of them are on the floor. Yeah, that's fair. That's why I think I'd like to see. Yesterday Tibbs ran with OG with that second unit. And, it was mixed results. But the final 6 minutes, it was a complete disaster, man. It was a complete disaster. Low-key Gamer says, we aren't deep. We don't have a backup point. We're shallow at center. Still need a true three-point specialist. Yeah. Think DiVincenzo was a big loss. Hart was a big loss. There's trade-offs when you make trades. Fisher Hunter says, Tib burnt out OG. Well, you looked good yesterday. We keep thinking that, but certainly played well yesterday. Untucked OG is the final boss. Yeah, he was playing like a madman, man. Desmond Drew, I see you. All my franchise channel members, man, throw a salute in the chat. Let me know that you guys are in here. Salute to everybody in the chat. Tonight, we are going to have Game of the Week preview. Knicks versus Lakers. Late night show. We're going late night at around 11 o'clock, I think. We're going late night on the Game of the Week preview. So make sure you guys are joining us there. All right, what else? What else we got here? Oh, we got to salute to our sponsors, man. We got to pay some bills, man. Salute to one of our sponsors of the show, and that is Skims, the official underwear partner of the New York Knicks. Of the NBA and KnicksFanTV. Shout out to Skims, man. And make sure you go to skims.com and shop their collection. They have a men's line. They have a women's line. This is Kim Kardashian's new apparel company. But I'm telling you, man, the apparel is very comfortable, especially the menswear. I highly recommend it, and I think you guys should check it out, man. They sent me some nice boxer briefs. The 5-inch boxer briefs, dope. Quality material, stretchy fabric so you can breathe in there. They don't ride up on you like some of those boxer briefs do, because I'm more of a boxers guy. But the Skims will get you right, man. So you can work out in it. Some of you, if you're into boxing, you're into sports, you do your sports thing. Very high quality material. And they come in like a lot of neutral colors as well. So you get like black, tan, gray, a lot of neutral colors on the Skims. So yeah, check it out, man. I would highly recommend it. Go to skims.com. Check out the collection. Once you make a purchase, they're going to send you a post-purchase survey. And they're going to ask you how you found out about them. And you let them know CP the franchise and good people at KFTV sent you. All right, so shout out to our good people at Skims, man. Shout out to our friends at Skims. Okay, what else we got going on? Knicks going to Los Angeles. They'll be playing the Lakers tomorrow. And let's see what happens there. And as you heard Ian Begley say, we got to watch that back-to-back against the Clippers and who they're going to go with. Do they sign somebody to that final roster spot to play in that game? Is it going to be Moses Brown? I Am Gotham says Moses Brown defense must be whack. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, what are they waiting for? They brought him back to put him back in Westchester. So, but now remember, they have until the end of the year to sign somebody. So, who knows? I don't know what they're waiting for. Because the deadline for people on waivers to play in the playoffs has already passed. Daniel Bosajor says, I'm actually concerned as to why Moses hasn't been brought up already. He should have been signed in the Mavs locker room once the clock struck 12 on his 10-day. Yeah. Maybe the team is not as high on him. Who else we got in the chat, man? Franchise channel members. I Am Gotham. I see you. Life of a Leo. What's good? Desmond, Drew, Bobby, Elliott, John Talento, Father Peace, Travis Ware. Salute. Salute, man. Mike says, watch how my guy Tumani clamp up Boston tonight. KnicksFanTV, the guy they didn't want for Deuce. Well, you need two teams to make a trade, sir. But no doubt, Tumani Kamara, he's balling out, man. He's playing very, very well. Shout out to Fabian Aramaris, franchise channel member, man. He just joined the franchise channel member. So shout out to Fabian. All right, so that's how we're gonna do it today. Let me check the Discord. Oh, we do have a call. Okay, let me load up Femi on the Discord. Let me get Femi in here. Femi, when you can hear me, go ahead and unmute your mic. Femi, are you there? Femi from BK.
Yo, am I coming through clear?
Yeah, man. How you been, man? Long time, bro.
Yo, CP, I never miss a show, though.
Yeah.
Great show last night. Replay gang is a little late.
Salute to the replay gang.
Yes, sir. And great having Ian Begley on.
Sure.
I wanted to ask him a question. I wanted to ask if he could get a KFTV sponsored directional mic for the locker room.
Oh, yeah, we gotta ask him that, right?
Yeah, we gotta ask Ian if he could do that.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah. I forgot about that. That should have been, you guys should have put that in the mailbag questions.
Or next time. But
yeah.
Shout out to the chat. I see 500 people watching, 95 likes. Hit that like button.
Yep.
Salute to the sponsors. And my one question for you, CP, is if you had to choose, if you're Leon Rose, would it be Moses Brown or TJ Warren, which you prefer? And thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, I mean, prior to the Huck Porty injury, I would have went with TJ Warren just to get a little bit more scoring punch in here. But with Mitch being brought back slowly, Towns, I think, could use a breather. And now you don't have Huck Porty for at least probably till the playoffs. I think they got to see what's up with Moses Brown. Well, we just got to see, where are they at with this kid? Do they like him or not, man? Got to see what's up with Moses Brown.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, man. Anytime, man. That's our guy, Femi from Brooklyn. If you guys are from Brooklyn, man, throw a hashtag BK in the chat. Brooklyn stand up. I mentioned Tyler Kolek, but McCullers is doing the damn thing in the G League right now. I mean, look, G League stats are G League stats. Don't get too high, don't get too low. But Kevin McCullers, he's playing well in the G League right now. So as we look to, this year is still going to finish out. We'll see where they end up. Anything is possible. But additionally, when we think about the future of this team, as Ian said, hey, they could go with the nuclear option. They could. But if they're going to keep this team together, then the back end of the rotation is going to be key. You're not expecting guys like Campaign and Shamet to be back next year. So they need their youngsters to level up. We'll see what McCullers. Remember, McCullers was coming off of an ACL injury at Kansas. So as James Edwards said, and a lot of you were clowning him because he played in the G League after Edwards said that they have no plans for him. He's not going to come back to the team this year. Just let him rehab. Let him get his game, step his game up in the G League. Let him learn the system. But hopefully this is a guy that can come in next year and contribute. Can Kolek take a step up? You got Huck Porty. You got Dadier. You have another second-round pick. That is going to be part of your young core that is going to be key to this Knicks bench next year. Is Marjan Beauchamp a guy that they can rehab? We'll see. Ian Begley, according to Ian Begley's article, they have some high hopes in Anton Watson, who they signed to a two-way deal for his positional versatility and his ability to shoot. Maybe the Celtics, it was an embarrassment of riches and they got rid of him. He didn't even play an NBA game yet. So think about some of these names for next year as some of the young core, in addition to whatever veterans they plan to bring in. There's something to think about. Something to think about, man. Some food for thought. Okay? All right, man. Anyway, I'm going to get up out of here and make sure I don't have no more calls on the Discord. As I said, Knicks versus Lakers Game of the Week preview is going down tonight. Going to be a late night show. So go ahead and, put the kids to bed, eat some dinner, watch your shows. I still got to watch the season finale of Paradise. So no spoilers. Don't tell me what happened in Paradise. I still got to tap in, see what's going on. Yeah, man, but salute to everybody in the chat. Reynaldo Maldonado, I see you, man. You're day one here. Salute to you. Salute to everybody watching on the gram. Galaxy Christopher, I see you, man. You're welcome, bro. Appreciate it, CP. Yeah, DW Clark says McCullough looked good yesterday along with Moses. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Eddie Rodriguez says Jalen needs to stop looking for Hart, knowing he can't shoot threes at all. Hey, you got to give what that's what the defense is dictating right now. Hart has to get his confidence back and knock him down. You got to take the shot while you're out there. So that's the situation, man. Appreciate everybody for your time. Bleacher Report, we'll see you guys on Friday. And everybody else, we'll see you guys later tonight, man. We'll take a quick break and be back after these messages. Salute to the replay gang. Remember that this show's available in audio podcast format. No reason to miss it. Hey, we are on the way to 100,000 subscribers. So make sure every time you come in here, you hit the like button, you hit the share button, and you subscribe to the channel, man. Share this in the group chat. Share it with your grandma, man. Let grandma know, hey, man, KnicksFanTV is the hottest thing smoking right now. Number one show for the fans by the fans. Let the people know, man. This is a people's show and a people's movement, and we're going to get to that 100K really, really quickly. All right? You guys have a great night, man. Peace.